So I have to admit something. When I started into the book of Samuel and started reading and preparing notes and um, things for this, I've actually realized I've had an incomplete view of Samuel as a leader. I never I wasn't remembering that Samuel's leadership was not perfect. And I think for a large degree, I have been remembering Samuel as being kind of, you know, a great leader that had no flaws, or there was nothing wrong with his leadership in any way. This chapter um, kind of reminded me that that's not the case the Bible portrays for Samuel. I mean, again, much of his leadership is positive, uh, but at the beginning of this chapter, we see Samuel looking to appoint his sons. He's like, I'm getting old. I'm getting older. I'm going to appoint my sons to follow in my footsteps, even though their character was lacking. Priestly roles were hereditary, like if Aaron was the high priest, then his son would be the high priest. You had to be of the line of Aaron to be a certain level of within the priesthood and the Levitical system. Um, you know, certain tribe again. There are certain priestly roles were hereditary, but prophet and judge, which were Samuel's roles, definitely were not hereditary. I mean, kingship we see kind of was hereditary, at least kind of how the world worked and how the pagan nations worked, and the concept of that, and as how Israel and Judah tended to practice it, unless there was a revolt. Um, so we need to see here that Samuel's call for his sons to take his mantle of leadership was not a wise decision by Samuel. Maybe there might have been nothing wrong with the hereditary piece of it, but the character piece, he should have known. I mean, Eli, his first prophecy was to Eli saying, God's going to remove the priesthood from your family. You're done. Your family line's done because your sons are corrupt and you're not doing anything about it, Eli. Samuel's sons are kind of following the path that Eli's sons followed. And so here again, we see this transition from that priesthood to the monarchy, where the seat of authority was going to be. It's not going to reside with Samuel and his role. The call for a king by the nations, it makes sense in some ways, to be sure, except Israel was not supposed to be a nation like the other nations. They already had a king, Yahweh. But I want to focus on the dynamic of Samuel today. Samuel takes the call by the people for a king as a personal affront. It's like, you don't want my sons? And God has to remind Samuel, you don't have anything to be offended about. Israel's not rejecting you. They're rejecting me. Samuel should have known his family, his sons weren't worthy of being leaders. Again, character. Character matters. Samuel gives the warning to the people of what a king will do and what it will require, but the people go, no, we want a king. So God tells Samuel, give them a king. And Samuel tells the people to go home. Not exactly what God said. Now we can go, well, maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe, but God gave Samuel an instruction and Samuel didn't follow through with it here. Also notice this theme of judgment. When God kind of brings his judgment, it often comes in the form of giving people what they're asking for. I was just reading this morning, just the prayer book that I use, mine today, which I'm doing this a week ago from when you're seeing this actually, was on thanking God for when he says no. We often thank God for the yeses for our prayers. God, would you heal this person? When we see a yes, we go, thank you, God. God, would you give me an answer to this decision? And we get an answer. We go, yes. We see God, your yes. Thank you, God. How often do we thank God for when he says no. Or because when he understands, he sees that what we're asking for is not for our best or is not going to be for the best of others. And he says no. Are we thankful for that? It was a good thing to reflect on this morning for me. I also want to mention this. There's a quote, all power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Even Samuel was not immune to this. The Christian principle for leadership and service, from Old Testament to New Testament, epitomized by Jesus the most. I mean, he said that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. He called his followers not to lord it over others, but to serve all. The greatest among you will be the one who serves the most. The Christian principle, the Christ-like principle for those who wield power, authority, influence, is to serve like Jesus did. And again, Jesus washed his disciples' feet, John 13. Not sure what necessarily you'll take as something to reflect on today, but whatever it is, pray that you'll find something. And as you meditate on it, allow Jesus to shape you through that meditation and putting whatever he leads you to put that into practice. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And today would you know his peace. God bless.